Well, let me start then. You know, so Massimo Rusene has done some work, but it was more on plates, time-modulated plates. So how does this compare with your work? So your system works on substrates. I mean, how can you? You are mute, Anne-Christine.
Okay, so I don't know the very recent work made by Massimo Rusene, yeah. But previously he was working on elastic beams with piezoelectric patches. In our case, all is piezoelectric, so it's quite different. But I believe that the idea is similar.
Okay, and so you have shown some non-reciprocity. So when you tilt the band diagram, and so effectively, so one effect which is quite amazing with this kind of space-time modulated metamaterials is in the homogenization regime. Did you look when you are close, you know, to the origin of the band diagram? You know, you have a very strong, you can see the very strong reciprocity even in the homogenization regime, I believe.
Yes, here in the middle, yes. We have some dispersion relation with a given velocity. I don't know if we have done some limited development at low frequency, large wavelength limit to see what happens. I don't remember, so sorry. But perhaps we can. Only in this paper from Charles Krohn, I believe that the relation is inside.
Because the nice thing is that, you know, you have this kind of, I mean, we coined it as a Fresnel drag. In fact, in the low frequency limit, when you perform the homogenization, you end up with additional terms compared to what you would get if you don't have the space-time modulation. And so this additional term can be reinterpreted as some kind of drag due to the fact that when you space modulate, it's like having something in, you know, in motion. I mean, maybe this is something you, I mean, everything should be there because I can see that you have all the information. So then you,
Okay. We will look.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And so you started to develop this periodic piezoelectric metamaterials back in 2014, actually. So,
yes. The first result is here, is in the frame of the PhD thesis from Sébastien de Grave. So it is this paper. The first paper was in a Journal of Applied Physics. It was in 2014. Okay, so it was the first one, and then we have worked a lot on roads, and now we are looking to the same phenomena, but in the case of RF components. And indeed, we are working on this topic for 10 years.
Yes, so this is very interesting because actually it predates really the, you know, the explosion of papers in this space-time modulated metamaterials. I mean, it's very interesting to see that. I just wanted to point to this fact, and also something very, you know, I mean, we in Institut Fresnel, we used quite a lot your paper from 1995 in the implementation of Floquet-Bloch theory for finite elements.
Yes.
So with André Nicolet and Frédéric Zola, we actually used your paper to find a way to implement it for electromagnetic waves. We actually exactly the same recipe. Yeah.
Right. Yes, but you know, I have defended my thesis in 1990. And just after, Philippe Langlais has the subject of my PhD thesis was the calculation of the transmission reflection coefficient for panels used in underwater acoustics. But after my thesis, Philippe Langlais has developed here on slide 9 a method for the calculation of the dispersion curve here. But you know, it's funny because it was too early, because when Philippe Langlais has written this paper, there was no phononic crystals, there was no metamaterials, and so we had to wait about 10 years. And then we came back to this topic around 2005, 2010, and now, yes, this paper is well cited, but at the beginning, no.
I think it's a very important paper. For instance, Christophe Gezen, so he has developed this package GetDP, and the implementation of Floquet-Bloch boundary conditions in GetDP was done using this 1995 paper. I mean, everything is in there. In this paper, you understand clearly how you have to map one on the next one. I mean, everything is explained. There's an algorithm that allows you to implement this in any kind of finite element package. So yeah, it's a very important paper, the 1995 one. Okay, so I've got a question in the chat box. So I just repeat.
Okay.
Thank you for your talk. Based on this idea and technology, so can one implement filters in gigahertz or millimeter wave regime, or there are limitations in respect to the frequency regime?
No, you can here. The topic was to build a filter around 400 megahertz. It was for Thales. Okay, but today we have another part of the Formosa project that is looking to the proof of concept for 1.6 gigahertz, and it is we can do it. It works also.
Okay, excellent. So people, please come forward with your questions. You know, you can switch on your web camera, and don't be shy, please. It's like, you know, a coffee break. It's very friendly. Come on, guys. Okay, so I have another question. So obviously now that you are, you know, well into this research in space-time modulated metamaterials, and you are looking at the control of Rayleigh waves, I mean, typically, can you scale up this and think of, you know, controlling somehow with a larger device seismic waves? I mean, why not? Because, you know, is there a way to do it? Is there, I mean, something, I mean, piezoelectric? So
perhaps today, for the space modulating device, yeah. We were working on a stack of rods, because it was the first device under study. When it was starting in space modulated time, then in parallel we have worked on SAW. Okay. Perhaps we could apply the concept of space-time modulated to SAW, but probably we could apply the same concept to other scale, other applications. Yes, but
and so in your lab, so what are your objectives for, you know, the next few years in this implementation development of this area? So what are you?
Sarah Tessier is a PhD student, and she is working on modulated phononic crystal. She will defend her thesis at the end of this year, and she has a first experimental demonstration of non-reciprocity and the change of the dispersion curves depending on the velocity, positive and negative. Okay, so I didn't present the result because she is a PhD student. it is her result, and she will present it first time next month in Denver for the as a meeting. I believe that we will continue on this topic for the modulated phononic crystal, and for the tunable RF component. The INR project will be finished at the end of the year, but we hope that with Thales and frequencies, we will continue, because we believe that we are we will get soon a device, we believe, a filter.
So I could envisage, for instance, that something that would be really fantastic is to have some kind of wallpaper, a time-modulated wallpaper, and sound can, you know, pass in one direction and be completely absorbed in the other. You think I mean, this kind of meta surfaces can be achieved with your piezoelectric materials? Can you operate, for instance, really deep down the low frequency regime? You know, this is why I was kind of asking also.
I believe that if you have a wall here, the propagation could be in the direction, in the plane of the wall, not perpendicular. So in that case, I believe that it could be
still bulky. It would be
yes. So you imagine like a sheet of paper with a piezoelectric patch, and so you can have a propagation in this way, but not in this way. But I believe that perpendicular is not the same.
And can you see also with your SAW some applications in mobile phone technology? I mean, what would be the applications for, let's say, the 6G?
Yes, what I have presented is a filter around 400 megahertz. That because I can tell you this result, but in the same time we are developing another filter for 1.6 gigahertz.
Okay.
So the idea is to put it in 5G mobile.
So it is compact. It can be. I mean, it is.
Yes, because if you see filters, ladder filters, it can to have a good efficiency. So you have about 4 cells or 5 cell series parallel. So it takes place. So instead of having 2 ladder filters, so you have only one with a switch. I believe that for the place, it's better.
Okay, so that's very interesting. And so this is for sound, but do you have similar ideas for microwaves, or you're just no? Okay.
No, but if somebody can use this concept to other waves, yes, perfect.
Okay, so that's very interesting. So, and in terms of, so you have developed a theory, which is some kind of transfer matrix theory for this spacetime. Maybe we can go back to this slide that you've shown quickly, because so you have done some analytical developments, and in the end you get this expression which has this gamma when. No, I think there was another slide where you have shown some kind yes, that was alpha. So here, so you're simply using the usual transfer matrix theory to do that. I mean,
no, it's only propagation. I use equations of piezoelectricity and some boundary conditions and continuity. No, but we can use transfer matrix to do it. But in that case, here it's only an analytical model.
Okay, so for circuits, okay, all right, and so this model dates back. I mean, when did you derive this model? I mean, it's recently, or it's?
This one No, it is presented in the paper here from Sébastien de Grave about 10 years
10
ago.
years ago then. Okay.
Yes. No, it's not new, but
no, it's great. No, it's not saying.
But it was
making a point that you had already this result 10 years ago, essentially. So and in this result, the non-reciprocity can be seen in this effective formula.
If you look at this paper, I believe that you will find some, or you can ask to Charles Cohen. So
okay. I mean, I find this quite amazing that effectively your team has been working on this topic for such a long period.
At the beginning, we don't know that we didn't imagine that we will work on this topic about 10 years during 10 years.
Yeah. And okay, and so people, please ask your questions. You know, I'm very happy to have other people asking questions. So when you, Mohamed, Vincent.
Yes, I would like to ask a question.
Please,
I tried before, but I did not unmute myself. And Christine, a very general question on this, let's say, mechanical metamaterials, where you would have the opportunity, let's say, to control or to connect electrically your material everywhere. What can you get? Can you get something more than this, let's say, non-reciprocity? Can you get, I mean, you can in principle just control and close or block any polarization of a wave. You could forbid shear modes and you could leave only the longitudinal.
Yes. What I presented here is only reciprocities like a diode, okay? But we imagine that we can also do some devices to trap the waves in one direction and not in the other one, and so on. So I don't know if I answer your question. It's other application instead of simply non-reciprocity. Is that?
Yes, and how do you design your electrode? How is it? I mean, you have a clear procedure on how to do this stuff, or it's
for the non-reciprocity case?
For example,
the problem is if you want to see the effect, you have to have a large stack, about 100 rods, and in that case, as soon as you increase the number of rods, it can break very easily. So at the beginning, we were working with stack with 14, 20 rods. It was okay, but it was too short to see the effect. So it's better with a longer stack, but it can break. Now, the idea is perhaps to transpose the concept to surface acoustic waves. So in that case, you have a piezoelectric substrate and you have only electrodes, and you can shift the electrodes periodically with a given speed.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm actually just thinking that I mean, the concept should be very appealing if one can transfer it even to 3D structured materials, which of course it's not easy because you cannot control it, but even in the passive way of having some parts that are connected, like in your language, you have this core circuit.
Yes,
that might be enough, but again, I'm not expert on that.
Yes, it can be an idea. Yes, sure.
So we have a comment from Marco Mignacci. Thank you very much for the nice and inspiring talk. Are you also considering lead-free active materials?
Okay, so in the case of the non-reciprocity case, so the rods are made of PZ 29, 20, and so on. It is made of lead, so it's a problem, yes. But yes, we can imagine to do a stack with rods made of lead-free materials. The efficiency will be good. Is the coupling factor of the material is high. And today, lead-free components materials have less electromechanical coupling factor. So yes, it would be better to use lead-free. But today we don't have enough performant materials.
Very interesting. So do we have any more questions from the audience? I hope other people don't have a similar microphone problem to Marco. Okay, so yeah, I'm quite amazed actually. I mean, I know that I insist a lot by the fact that your results did not receive more publicity in the space-time metamaterial community. I think lots of people, well, perhaps even including me, you know, did not realize that there is this 2014 really seminar paper.
But you know, what was difficult is that we were in the community of phononic crystal, passive one, no piezoelectric. And then we were moving to the community of piezoelectric materials. And to be honest, the paper that we have submitted to the JAP, before we have submitted it to other papers, and it was not transmitted to reviewers because it was two communities that were not close enough. So it's quite difficult to do some transverse studies.
I totally agree. Nobody's interested, and it's a very important paper. So, and you just figure it out later on.
Yes, absolutely.
The editors, they are really narrow-minded. They have some kind of.
I mean, if I get it right, there is quite few papers in the recent years in Nature journals that are mainly duplicating this kind of work.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so let us thank our great speaker again. Thank you so much, Christine. I mean, it's really inspiring talk.
Okay, so thank you.
And Muammer, Bogdan, can you help me? Who will be? I think it will be Gail who will give the next talk. So we will have a talk by the Technion next week on mechanical metamaterials. And with that, I hope that you all stay safe and have a great time wherever you are. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thanks. Bye, everyone.